I'm trying to shoot a video to show you guys about how I'm planting for privacy, but as you can see, I can still see and hear the cars. All along there, we got a lot of frontage on a busy road. So about 5 years ago, this was just an empty field. I'll pop some pictures up. And we've slowly been planting trees and shrubs and grasses to try to make a barrier. We haven't had a lot of money to put in all at once, so it has happened over time, but it's growing really good now, and I wanted to show you guys what we've done. The driveway there is a shared driveway, and so we're trying to block off not only the road but also the driveway. We have grasses, trees, and shrubs planted here. It's gonna take time for this stuff to grow, but we planted drought tolerant stuff out here, and I wanted to share with you how well it's doing. Here's front yard view of our yard. This is the busy road. My mom had already planted some of these bigger spruce trees, so we just added more. These trees that you see here, when we planted them, were just little whips. They were just seedlings. We paid, I think, 50 cents a piece for them. We got 100 of them and planted them all around. So those are doing really well. These ones, now these are drought tolerant once they're established. These ones are doing a little better because they're in the shade of this cherry tree, and that protects them. These ones down here get more sun. So you can see they're kind of struggling a bit. And these ones to fill in. This used to be the old driveway. The driveway used to go straight past the house like that. So this is what it looks like over here. Nice and shady. So these trees and shrubs are very drought tolerant. We have, let me go to the front. Show you what it looks like from the front. Most of these things were just little half-gallon pots. Some of them were things that I dug up from around the other areas of the yard. This here is a burning bush. I got another one over there. Those I got end of year nursery sale for $5 a pot. We got a variegated willow, which you wouldn't think that would be considered drought resistant, but once it gets established, it is. I've got some small starts of Russian sage in here. This is a snowball bush. Back there is a forsythia. I dug up a start of a forsythia that was growing out from a bigger bush, and that's how much it's grown in 2 years. This is a golden unanimous, which those are drought resistant. Most impressive plant is hands down the spirea. Spirea will literally grow anywhere. I dug a hunk of this off a main plant. Wasn't really nice about it. Tossed it out here. I think I watered it in maybe. Honestly, I don't remember. That's how much it's grown just since this spring, just since May. It flowered. These get real pretty pink flowers. You just cut them back in the spring and they come back fresh every year, and it's the lowest maintenance plant I've ever found. These are a type of perennial swamp sunflower. if they get enough water, they'll bloom. One year they were like 12 foot tall. They were gorgeous. Looks like they're going to be good size this year too. I did start another group of them over here. Kind of balance it out. And some miscanthus grasses. Once they're established, they're drought resistant too. The red is a copper wine 9-bark. I did have to water it really well the first year, and I do watch it occasionally just to make sure if anything out here is drooping a little bit, I do give it a drink. One benefit is I haven't had any mildew problems with it, and I think just because it's got a lot of airflow out here and it's not saturated. Daylilies I'm convinced will grow anywhere. I tried to mirror on both sides somewhat the same. That Japanese grass there is the same as that big one there. There's another burning bush, which those would be pretty. They'll get big, they'll fill in on either side and get beautiful and red. This is just a panicum grass. It gets purple tinged. I don't know if you can see. These things grow like a weed. All of these that you see along the driveway started from one plant. Literally one half-gallon or gallon size plant that I bought at a nursery years ago. You can just keep taking chunks off it, and within 4 or 5 years you have these huge grasses. This is a tamarack that we dug up on vacation and brought home with us. It was just a tiny little start. If you're not familiar with tamarack trees, tamaracks are soft. They feel kind of rubbery. Tamaracks are not evergreen. They lose their needles every fall and they flush out fresh in the spring. This one is established now, so it's starting to really take off. There was 2 of them. This one was bigger to start with. Here's the other one. This one was literally just a little whip. And it gets more shade in the afternoon. And that's probably why it's not growing as fast as that one, because that one's pretty much full sun all day. They are slender trees. The deer don't bother them. And it's just a nice different texture out here from the other shrubs, the other spruces. This is filling really good. We did put down the black landscape material. For the most part, it's done pretty good. Honestly, I didn't even mulch it this year. We just didn't get to it. Next year we'll do it. We'll get a nice fresh layer on it. I need to come out and pull a few weeds, but other than that, this is relatively maintenance free now. We fertilize once a year. I'll give it a good water, and if I try to fertilize when it's raining. There's a nice variety of color out here. I imagine once everything fills in, it's going to really be pretty. And I can add in more daylilies and more color and more Russian sage too, because it does take so long for trees to fill in, especially when they're not being irrigated. We planted layers, so we have the alternating rows of the spruce trees, and we have the grasses, and then 2 years ago we added the green giant arborvitae. Now those are struggling a little bit out here, but they're starting to be established now, so I expect that they'll be just fine. They weren't struggling so much from lack of water because we watered them really good for the first 2 years, but the deer got after them, even though they're supposed to be deer resistant. These trees, you guys, when we planted them, that's how tall they were. They were literally just sticks that we put in the ground. And we were diligent about, we mulched them, we fertilized them, and we kept them watered the first year and a half, 2 years. You know, we kind of watch them. This year, they've only been watered once, and that's because it was in the spring right after we had fertilized them. I only fertilize them once a year with a regular 12-12-12, and now they're starting to put on about a foot of growth a year. Eventually, these will grow. You won't be able to see the house. I mean, it does a pretty good job so far. It's a very good visual barrier right now. To give a reference of how tall these trees are, they're about chest height on me. That one is. They're not all growing the same rate, but they're all growing really good. I don't know if you can notice, the grass is a lot smaller down there than it is out there. And the reason why is because it gets more shade down there. These grasses really like it hot and dry and sunny. You might notice some of these trees are a little different. That's because we did lose a couple, and we just went out and dug some up out of the woods and popped them in, and like this one you can tell is a little smaller. This one actually is a blue spruce. They can kind of have different colors. You can see that one over there is really blue. Tell the difference between those two trees. That one's definitely a blue spruce. That one's just a Colorado spruce. There's 3 more burning bushes down here because those are quite drought tolerant too once they're established. I haven't watered these all year. Take a look at the dirt. It's literally sand. We did do some compost on top over these burning bushes. They do like to have a little bit more help conserving, but look at these. This is literally sand. This is one of those spireas. These are the Carl Forester grasses, literally growing in sand too. This does not get water. This does not get water. It's full sun most of the day. It does get a little bit of a afternoon shade from the big pine tree. We're gonna cut that big cherry tree out, open it up a little bit. But other than that little bit of reprieve in the afternoon, this gets nothing. I haven't watered it, I haven't composted it. I planted these things in the sand. The spirea, truth be told, when I was digging up starts to start other places, those two got left out laying outside for a couple of days, just roots and all laying outside. And I found them and I thought, oh, that's a good spot to put them down there. I need, you know, to kind of fill out this corner a little more. I put them in the ground. I didn't water them. I didn't do anything. Threw a little dirt over them. And that was the spring. And that's how big they've grown. This is how big they've grown. Now there's a weed. And they did flower too. But they're probably 8 inches tall already. No water, nothing. It's getting sunny out. I can't see what I'm showing you guys. So if you have a dry, hot, sandy area, definitely the spirea. The grasses, once established, they'll be fine. They'll just grow a little slower without the water. And to round off this end, I do have some of the barberries. Barberries are not my favorite, so that's why I put them out here, because I didn't care if they grew or not. And they're growing. This one got ran over. It's growing. It'll be fine. I'm really proud how this is looking. It's really a big change from how it looked before, and soon it'll look the way I imagine it. Thanks for watching, and if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe for more videos. Have a great day.